the blacksmith's daughter went to her father and said, "Father, I know whom I wish to marry." And the blacksmith bristled at the words of his daughter. And he said to his daughter, "Oh, no, no, you don't get to choose who you marry. This is a prize. This smithy is a prize to whoever will marry you, for they will take over for me. Go on then, tell me who you think you will marry." And she said, "I'm in love with Jack." And the blacksmith said, "Jack? The idle boy who wanders around with his head in the clouds? No, no, no. You need to marry someone clever. You will marry the man who comes to me and tells me a story that has no end." The blacksmith's daughter sighed and knew she had to obey her father, and the word went out that she would marry whatever man could come to the blacksmith and tell him a story that had no end. And they queued up, for not only was the smithy a prize, but the daughter was seen as a prize in her own right. And so the first strapping young man came to the blacksmith and started, as we do, "Once upon a time." And then he told his story and he kept going. But in the end, he had to say the words, "And at last they lived happily ever." Oh! Story over. And then the next young man came and he told his story, "Once upon a time." And he told his story, but he eventually had to say, "But sad to tell you, this story ends with a tragedy that," and on it went, until the last remaining young man coming to try and win the hand of the blacksmith's daughter was Jack. And Jack said, "Once upon a time, there was a farmer who had a barn like that barn over there. And he filled his barn with grain." And the blacksmith said, "Is that it?" And Jack said, "Oh, no, 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 no. Wait, there's more. The barn was completely secure. No man nor beast could get inside the barn to take the grain, except in the top corner of the farthest wall, there was a small hole, small enough for a sparrow to squeeze through. And a sparrow found that hole, and it squeezed through, and it took a piece of grain, and it squeezed back out of the hole, flew back to its nest, and enjoyed the grain. Then it flew back to the barn. It squeezed through the hole, took a piece of grain, squeezed back through the hole, flew back to its nest, and enjoyed the grain. Then it returned to the barn, squeezed through the hole, took a piece of grain, squeezed back through the hole with a piece of grain, went back to the nest and enjoyed the piece of grain. And then it returned to the barn, and the blacksmith said, "Enough with the bird squeezing through the hole in the wall of the barn. When are we going to get to something exciting in the story?" And Jack said, "Oh, sir, we will get there eventually, but first of all, the bird has to empty the entire barn of grain before I can continue." And the blacksmith sighed and looked at his daughter and said, "You win. He's yours." And that is my story of the longest or the never-ending tale, and that's how I have told it to you.